Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another grounded video. So in this video we're going to cover gnats and the good and the bad, what's changed, what's new and what's old, basically. So we know in the past pets have not been very useful. They've been just something to kind of keep players busy and make some players happy here. But they died a lot, right? And they disappeared a lot. They didn't do very much. And then we got pet buffs. So we'll cover all that stuff, and then we'll introduce you to our pet gnat here, Gnatcho Libre, if you would like to come on down. And then, like I said, just kind of go over some of the changes, and then the buffs that the pets have now, and then see what we can do with the pet bonus that we get from the gnat. So I'm gonna kick off real quick. Getting the gnats, you're gonna need to get a lot of spoiled meat, and you're gonna have to craft the spoiled meat slurry. And the way to do that, so you'll have your spoiled meat, go ahead and analyze it, and you'll get the recipe for spoiled meat slurry. We'll show you guys over here at the grinder if Gnatcho Libre will follow us over here, which he is. So you go to your grinder, you'll take some spoiled meat right here, just 1-for-1 swap. You'll put it in here, you'll cook it, you'll get spoiled meat slurry. Now the best place to get spoiled meat is going to be over at the garbage heap. There's usually some big hot dogs over there that you can cut up. You usually get about 10 to 12 spoiled meat from those alone. Come over here, throw them in the grinder, get your spoiled meat slurry. Now, excuse me, to get the gnats to eat the food, it's kind of difficult. So it's not like when you have an aphid and you're trying to get an aphid that runs away. You just drop down one plant slurry and get one aphid to come over and eat it. Because the gnats are always grouped up in a large group, you'll put down one of these spoiled meat slurries, and you'll have about 10 gnats coming over to try to eat it all at the same time. So what I ended up doing was slaughtering about 9 of those ants until I had, 9 of those gnats until I had one left, and then just continually fed him, and then he became my pet. I did run into one issue before that, so I had my weevil pet basically attuned to me, if you will. And so it would not, so I had my weevil pet here, and it would not let me get the pet gnat no matter how many times I feed him. I think I went through about 10 or 12 different spoiled meat slurries to try to get one, and he just wouldn't be my friend. So make sure that you don't have any pet active when you're trying to get a pet gnat, or any pet rather, and then that way you'll be able to get your new one. So do that, you'll get your pet gnat. Obviously he flies around with you, and go from there. One of the big things, like I've said before with the pets, is now that you can access their inventory, 10 inventory slots from anywhere in the game. So your pet doesn't have to be near you. The best way I do this, because I'm still cautious about the pets disappearing or dying and stuff like that, is any resources that I'm not really too worried about, so like this gnat fuzz or something, I'll put that in there, go about my business doing whatever I'm doing in the game. And then when I come back to dump all my resources off, you just go here and you can transfer it anytime you want. So when you're out there running around, you can transfer stuff. When you're back at your base, you can transfer stuff. Super useful. So I know a lot of us have talked about increased inventory space. Well, here's a way basically to increase your inventory space right here. Get yourself a pet, have it attuned to you, and then you'll have that extra 10 slots. So we talked about some of the bonuses and the changes to some of the pets now, so I want to bring this up and show that to you guys over here. So with the home stretch PTS here, we can see some of the pet differences here. Pets will no longer leave the player when they were unhappy. That was one of the big things with pets. You had to constantly feed them, you had to constantly pet them, and if they were unhappy, they would just leave, and you wouldn't have them anymore. Pet happiness governs various other things, but will never cause your pet to leave anymore. So we don't know what those other things are, but apparently they won't leave just because they're unhappy. So you can treat them like crap, they can be unhappy, and they'll still stick around, in theory. I've still had some disappear, just fall through the map, and stuff like that. And then going back to their inventory slots, that's why I'm cautious to put stuff in the pet inventory slots. I don't put my important stuff in there, like I'm not going to put this twinkling shells or anything in there, because if he does die, I don't know if those items are recoverable. So moving on here, pet equipment now gives pets substantial defensive upgrades. So we have a plus 200% bonus max HP, bonus defensive threshold based on tier of equipment. So I don't know if we're going to be able to upgrade the pet armor right now. We still just have the red ant helmet and the grub goggles. Last time I checked, right before recording this video, you weren't able to upgrade the armor. So maybe that's something that's coming in the future. Bonus defensive resistance based on tier of equipment. Passive buffs given for having an active pet have been tuned. So according to the wiki here, this is what I'm going off of. Aphids are still going to give you the reduced stamina drain while sprinting. Weevils are still going to give you the reduced thirst drain. And now gnats, you can see here, it increases your glide speed with dandelion tuft. So we're going to test that out before we get off here. And moving back to this, pet inventory can be now opened directly from the player inventory screen via a new pet button. And that's what we talked about right here. Here's your pet button. So you make sure your pet is attuned to you, and you'll be able to access the inventory slots anytime you want. Then the last one, I believe, is just that the Weevil pet gravestone has new art. So now your Weevils, if they die, your Gnats, if they die, and your Aphids, if they die, they're going to show the respective pet on top of that gravestone. So little things like that. I still don't think pets are that big of a bonus, but if I can get them to work with this inventory slot right here, this alone is going to make me have a pet, just that increased inventory spots. So same thing, they don't have any different houses, so you're still going to have this house right here. The same pet houses that you have for Weevils and Aphids. So we'll go ahead and put him in here. They still have the same stuff right here. So he's frivolous, not friend, happy, pet for 1 day, blah, blah, blah. Same information here. You can rename it, do all that stuff, equip the different stuff on him. We'll give him some goggles since he's flying around. So I'm curious to see if we will get like a bird cage or something like that to be able to use them, to deposit them in, as opposed to just this. Something interesting down the road. The only other issue I have is when they do get outside of the base, having the pets try to come back in is really difficult. I did have a Weevil pet, Wilma, over here, and she could not make it up over this little hump right here. So what I ended up having to do is build these clover ramps just so she could walk up, and then she was able to make it in there. So little things like that. I think the pets can be useful given that they do provide a bonus. The increased inventory slots, I think that stuff can be good, but in the long run, that's something to be debated. So we're gonna go ahead and head out here actually and check out to see if this dandelion tuft increased gliding speed is gonna help. So we know the devs like to put raw science in peculiar locations. I know one up in the axe handle, up on top of the shed deck. You know, you have some up there. So the increased gliding speed would be nice. We'll see if we can actually get this to work here. So we're gonna go ahead and jump down here. And I think it's just going to allow you to glide farther, basically faster. So let's go ahead and check that. See if we can control that a little better. Not really a noticeable difference. I mean, I guess you can go pretty far with it now. But we'll just have to keep checking that out. So I think the pet gnat is probably going to be my new favorite pet, just because they do seem to follow you around a lot easier than the Weevils and Aphids. This one I was actually able to get right over here by this little flooded zone. Killed the mosquitoes, like I said, slaughtered a bunch of the other gnats, and was able to get my pet gnat. He went across the water fine. He was able to come all the way up here and follow me up into the house. So I didn't have any issue with that. I know some people have had issues with trying to get the pet gnat over certain obstacles. But I didn't have any of that. Like I said, it was just a little difficult to get him in the first place because it looks like he's got some food in his mouth. It was a little difficult to get the pet gnat in the first place because there is a group of them, right? So do that, drop your food down, eliminate all the other gnats around. Luck of the draw, I guess. Whatever one you want to get is the one that you can get. So yeah, that's it. I don't think there's anything else right now. Like I said, it is beneficial for the increased inventory slot. Hopefully this pet won't die while I'm out there running around and lose some stuff into his inventory. I haven't had it happen yet. So we'll have to see how long Gnatcho Libre here lasts, but that's all we got for this video, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you like pets? Have you always liked pets? Are you possibly going to start using pets now for the increased inventory space? Maybe the pet gnat, the increased gliding from your dandelion tuft. Some of this stuff could be useful. I think we're still in the early stages of being able to make the pets more useful for the player, given the buff and the increased inventory space. And we'll see if we have any pets coming down the road. With 1.0 right around the corner, I'm not sure if we'll get any more pets after that, but I'll be curious to see. So I'm going to keep Gnatcho Libre around here for a little bit with me, and we'll see how it goes. So that's what we got for this video, guys. Again, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and as always, stay original, my friends. Later.